So listen, if any of you guys are thinking about doing your own podcast, man, I highly recommend you use Anchor. Anchor.fm. It's free. You know what I mean? It's got all the tools and stuff you need to make your stuff sound spiffy. You know what I mean? It's seamless. It's user friendly. You can record it from your phone. You record it from your computer. You know what I'm saying? If you wanted to be on Spotify or Apple Podcast or anything like that, it'll do it for you. You know, you can make some money. You know what I mean? Doing a sponsorship ad and just like something like this. And it's also free. So if you're interested in it, man, you can download the free Anchor app or you can go to anchor.fm. Good luck.
All right, folks. Back in the lab, back in the mobile studio. Captain's Log Podcast, episode 38. Currently at my best friend, my main man, my nigga, Brandon Stroud's residence. What's happening?
What's good?
Glad to be here, man.
I appreciate you coming down.
Glad to be here in Georgia. You ain't got to look at that. Don't worry about that. They watching us. We ain't got to watch them.
Appreciate you coming down, messing with us.
Man, we just had to get out the house, bro. Like, I couldn't spend New Year's in the crib, bro. So I was like, man, can we get Janae on board, bro? I'm trying to come down here and holler at you.
I know this 2020 got a little weird.
Yeah. You've been good. Look like you're doing good, man. New spot. How you liking it?
I'm good, man. I'm liking it. I'm good, man.
Made a couple adjustments in the joint.
Yeah, you can't complain. Kind of did a little work in there, just to kind of put your own little.
Is this Janae's decor?
Of course.
Yeah. Did you decorate anything in this bitch?
Nah, bro.
She be taking over, man.
Nah, I mean that's what you're good at.
Yeah. Well, that's the wives do,
man. That's a strong
man.
point. You gotta let them have it.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Who better to put on the show, man? 30th episode, man. Started back in June. One of my biggest supporters, even outside of the podcast. We go way back for those who don't know.
Yes, sir.
9th grade, Matter and Energy.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Paint Branch, finest.
Mo County.
We've been through it all, man. You know what I'm saying? We've been through it all. So definitely an honor to get you on here, man. I'm very, very excited.
I'm definitely happy to be on.
So, like I said, this is mobile podcast episode. This is the first one where I had to pack my shit up and go to somebody else's house. So we in your, what is this, formal dining room?
Yeah,
we're in the formal dining room. We set it up here. We bought the lights, bought my microphones. Red zone football in the background. Tie game. We're going to get it cracking. So, how's work, man?
It's good, man.
Did it ever change up for you?
Yeah, we went through a stretch where, just like everybody, everything was locked down, everything was shut down.
Yeah.
You in the house pretty much every day for a little bit. And then it kind of picked back up slowly.
How was that? Mentally? Because you used to run it like me.
Yeah, I'm wide open. For a minute, like, it was good because I got especially now with the kid, like, it worked out at the right time because I just had my daughter, so I was able to be home a little more for that.
Shout out to Basil.
Help my wife with my daughter, and I got Jameson, the wide open 3-year-old.
Absolutely, man. Feel good to have a boy and a girl, don't it?
Hey,
just get it on out the way,
exactly.
man. You know what I'm saying?
Don't get much better than that.
You know what I mean? Just two good shots, man, and you're good to go. And you're just, I'm done, man.
Yeah, we good. Yeah, we got a boy, we got a girl.
Listen, whether I had 2 boys or 2 girls, I wasn't having no more than 2 kids, bro.
Hey, we was in the same boat.
I had to shut it down. Like, look, in them upper 30s, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Nigga head going thin, going gray.
Hey, tell me.
Wake up and everything fell out. Yeah.
Nah, 2 was the number for us.
Yeah. So, got to spend some time at home. I was at home a lot too, man. And you know what I'm saying? I too am a runner. We're probably the most running nigga you know.
Right.
And it was a huge adjustment for me. You know what I mean? Shit was sweet in the beginning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then it was just like when you kind of run out of shit to do, that's kind of when like the stress sink in. And this is when, your wife, of course, as your wife, she want to try to, she can sense it.
Yeah.
And she want to try to do stuff to kind of pep you up. But, sometimes we don't want to be pepped up. We just want to be left the fuck alone.
It's
you know
tough,
what I'm saying?
Because don't nobody know you better than your wife. So it's
exactly.
Tough.
You know what I mean? I always try to, man, somehow, some way when I get on here, like if it's some way to give my wife some kudos, give her the glory, I always do. So, boo-boo, you the best. So we back in high school, man. Well, let's just go back before that. Before you met me, man, Pops was, he was painting drag race cars, right?
Yeah, he was painting race cars.
Yeah. So tell me how you got into that. Well, of course, that's where he got in, but it's like, at what point you say, you're like, damn, man, this Pop doing some cool shit?
Well,
you know what? Wait, stop. First of all, tell the people what you do now.
Now I work in drag racing as a professional at my career, pretty much. And now I'm actually a crew chief / tuner, to where I control all the calls and shots on what to do with the car, how to make the car run, how to make it go fast, pretty much how to make it go down the racetrack.
Okay. So just break it down a little bit more for those who don't know shit about it.
For those who don't know, you got a race car, and then you got a race crew that
drag racing. This is a quarter mile or
quarter mile or eighth mile, depending on what series we're in.
Mm-hmm.
And we do pro mods. So most of everything we work on is like 3,000 horsepower and up. And you got a crew, which is usually 2 to 3 guys that are the mechanics. You got a driver. Then you got a crew chief or a tuner that actually directs the crew on what he wants done to the car. And then now with technology, we do a lot of the tuning with laptops, just like you go to a dealership and they hook a laptop up to your car.
Yeah.
I do the same thing with a race car.
Okay.
And I control the computer system in the race car with my laptop. But I also control what suspension changes I want to make, what tire pressure changes I want to make.
And all that shit happens automatically from the computer, or you just have to do
all
it?
that manually. Then the computer is what I control, like the fuel in the engine, the timing in the engine, like how it's working, how much power it's actually using at different parts of the racetrack. So it's technical, in depth, but it's mechanics.
Seems like it's very rewarding at the end, especially if y'all win.
It is. It's competitive, just as competitive as any sport. But I mean, it's just, you got everything just like a sport. You got pressure, you got the competitive edge, you got, different conditions. Like, everything plays a part in it.
And I definitely think that it's like when you hear drag racing, you know what I'm saying, for black people, they just more so I think they more so think about maybe the smaller cars, or the motorcycles,
or grudge.
Or the grudge or the
scene where they just running straight for cash.
We
strong in that.
What they call it, the donks and shit.
Yeah,
they race. That too.
In the South, that's bigger in the South. Like back home where we from, it ain't really. You don't see many donks. Ain't really like that.
Yeah. But when you talk about like pro mods and funny cars and top fuels and shit, it's like
there's not many of you. You can probably count us on one hand. You might get a finger or two on the second hand. That's about it.
So, because I remember when we was young. You know what I'm saying. I actually remember this trip. This is when I think Pops took us to we went all the way to like Massachusetts somewhere.
Yeah.
And I think it was for a race, bruh. Yeah. First of all, I was like, oh shit, this is cool. At that point, I was doing anything to not be in the house and to hang around because Pops and LT took me in immediately.
Oh, for sure, he was fam.
You know what I mean? So I'm going up there. First of all, I was like, bruh, where the fuck are we going? This is a long ass drive. You know what I'm saying? Then we get there.
Yeah.
And then they was working on the car for a day or two.
Yeah, it was nonstop.
And literally rolled that shit down the track like once or twice, and then like that joint was done. So I'm like, yeah, that shit was cool, but I'm like, that's it.
We spend way more time working on it than we do.
Hell yeah, it's like 98%. You know what I'm saying? So in my head, I was like, it's cool, but shit ain't that damn cool. You know what I'm saying? But you grew up on it, so it was just like for me, I just was happy to be out of the house. But I was like, bro, like I just felt like I wish it was something. Something else we could have been doing. You know what I'm saying? While that shit was being done, like it was just no in between time, and you was pretty much shadowing.
Right.
You know what I mean? But so you decided, once we got to high school, then you started doing the half day. Well, we supposed to did it together.
Yeah, we supposed to. I tried to get you in there with me.
You tried it. First of all,
trying to bring you with me.
I was a dumbass, bro. Like I didn't have the grades, man. And it's crazy to be honest. I really didn't want to do it, but I had also felt like, man, you know what I'm saying? If you start doing this, it's like I feel like I was gonna kind of be like left behind a little bit because even though that wasn't the case because we still was hanging out and partying and shit, but it was just like. The school days was different. It's like when you was it 11th grade?
Yeah. Like
you was gone, and then it would just be me and like whoever.
Nah, it was just my senior year. It's supposed to be 11th and 12th. I only went my senior. But yeah, we was I was trying.
Yeah,
to push,
we had always
trying to push you too.
Yeah,
man.
we had always had a couple classes together. Then I'm just like, damn, bro, like we went from no classes, then you was gone before lunch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think it was an adjustment for me, and then it's like I was already kind of transitioning to. Leaving to go to the service soon as I left, you know what I'm saying? High school, which fucking sucked, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, so, but you went out there and you felt like you really got some good shit out of Edison or it was just some time away from school?
Nah, I got some, Edison, what they teach you there was mainly on regular auto mechanics, as far as like the regular everyday car.
Yeah.
But you kind of need that baseline to make it to even to the racing side. So like, I got started young because obviously, like you touched on with my dad. So I kind of knew the racing stuff, but I really didn't know much about working on regular cars, which is kind of backwards for most people and the way you would think about it.
But that's what you was around, though. You know
right,
what I
was around race cars.
Yeah.
So when you get a regular car and it's got an air conditioner and all these other things on it that race cars don't have.
Really just shit that's in the way.
Right. So I really didn't know nothing about it. So Edison definitely helped me kind of understand that. And and kind of just help build something in case the racing thing didn't take off. I could be a regular mechanic.
Okay.
And still, have a career or have a job.
So what, they just give you a little certificate or something when you was done, or like a graduation, or?
Yeah, they give you a certificate, and they kind of set you up with different schools, like tech schools. Once you get out of there, this is what you want to do. Here's your next step.
So the school you picked was from there.
Yeah, it was one of the dudes came there one day.
Oh, they recruited us.
Yeah, and I ended up kind of getting comfortable with two other dudes. I think it was two. Yeah, it was two other dudes I met in the same class I was in. And that John Edison was in Rockville, so obviously they went to different high schools just like I did. So I got cool with them, and the dude recruited us, and we all was like, all right, you know what? All three of us, we're gonna do this together. That way, we kind of know each other. So he's like, we're gonna. The jump was in Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
So he's
it was VCU.
Nah, it was called ATI.
ATI. Yeah, that shit's still open, ain't it?
I think so. They might be bought out by somebody else, but I know they've been open for a minute.
Yeah. You went out right. You didn't go right after high school, did you? Or you took the summer?
I took the summer and then I went.
I listen. I wish I would have took the summer, bro. But I had prematurely, signed up to go into the service. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, well, let me just sign up now. Fuck it. I really was following my man Gabe that lived in the neighborhood because he was already in.
I remember Gabe.
And I was like, now my man came back looking Josh sharp out here, man. I'm trying to do that. So, but I mean, he had also like submitted my name. I think he just got some money or some shit for that. I mean, I don't know if he really did it just because he really wanted me to do it, or if it was like a referral bonus or something. But I followed behind his ass. Even though the crazy part is, even once I got in, like when I seen that nigga, I was like, we wasn't even really hanging like that. You know what I'm saying? He was kind of like engulfed in the South and shit. This nigga was living in the fucking like a triple wide or something with his buddies. You know what I mean? But I think if I would have took the summer, I wouldn't have went.
I remember when you first told me, and that don't caught me off guard.
Well, I know you wasn't feeling it. But
I wasn't. I ain't gonna lie to you.
But nobody was feeling it. Nah. My mother didn't sign them papers until like the last minute.
I remember you told me that. I knew your mom wasn't feeling it either. I wasn't feeling it, but I was kind of like, at the end of the day, you still gotta do what's best for you.
I'm like, what the fuck I'm going to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like I could have put forth so much effort and more effort in school. But it was like nobody there to hold me accountable. You know what I'm saying? Right, so it's like, if you're not going to hold me accountable as a teenager, then I'm not going to do shit.
True.
You know what I mean? But
you look back on it, where you at now?
Shit. Man, look, let me tell you something.
I'm proud of you.
You love it more when you're out. I tell you that.
I'm proud of you, though.
You love that shit so much more when you're out. That shit sound crazy, but when you start seeing that all that little money and them little benefits and VA loans and physical therapy, a lot of shit that be free. I never call it free because you earn that shit.
I'm about to say the same thing. You earned it, though. You was out there on them lines. You earned it.
Yeah, I feel like, man, you can never ask for too much when you put your fucking life on the line. You know what I'm saying? You can never say, well, I should get this. Well, damn, I mean, we gave you this. Nigga, I almost died. You better give me that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you weren't out there with me, so come on.
Yeah. So you went to school.
Yeah.
It was down Virginia Beach shit. It's wild down there. So you was close to Norfolk. Well, you was in Norfolk.
I was close to Norfolk State, Hampton, and I think there was one more down there. I know Norfolk State and Hampton were the two main ones down there.
Why the fuck did I never come up there?
Because you was already over there. You was already overseas.
But I was in North Carolina until 2007. How long was your school?
A year and a half.
Oh, yeah. So you was quick.
In and out. Yeah, I was in and out.
Damn. So you got out of there.
You was gone when I was down there.
Oh, I was overseas. Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. That's a whole nother story, man. But it did suck initially, man. It kind of started to even out once I was on the slope, get ready to get out.
Yeah.
But them first 2.5 years, that shit was rough, bro.
But and even for us though, I mean, everybody that knows us, we was pretty much together just about every day. Like,
yeah.
Like partying or doing something, and then like you went, I went down there and it pretty much just went cold.
Yeah. It was a minute. It was shit. It was, I think, about at least a year.
Yeah, it was at least a year and a half.
But I mean, then it's like, and it's like the whole time I was just like trying to find somebody. I was like, well, who can kind of fill this void? You know what I'm saying? Like, who can fill this empty space that I had?
Right.
And I had ran across some cool niggas, you know what I'm saying, down the line. But it was just like, you cool, but you ain't Brandon. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you loving dude, but you're not Brandon though. You know what I mean? So I just kind of made it do what it do. But I mean, I would like to think, you know what I'm saying, that we definitely done a good job of keeping in touch. You know what I'm saying? Even though we in different states, man, just kind of checking on each other, making sure we doing what the fuck we supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? I just remember them days having money troubles, and I was like, I'm out there, Brandon gotta get a couple dollars. You know what I'm saying? It was like I didn't have trouble asking, but I could just hear it in the voice, like, bro, what the fuck is you doing? You know what I'm saying? But I mean,
but you already know.
But it's
If I had it, we had it. Like if we was going,
that was always that.
Yeah, if I had it, we had it. We was good. We hit numerous parties to where we was in there. Like,
we was definitely partying, bro.
It didn't matter.
We was definitely the party. I can't think of one party we missed. You know what I'm saying? And if it was maybe because it was just in a suspect location.
Yeah, we was. And there was partying pretty. That was like we were in. I feel like we was in a good time frame where like
I feel like our year from what is that, 2000 to 2003 4.
Yeah.
I feel like that was just the best years in the human race of partying, bro. I mean,
Rockville Sportsplex.
Sportsplex. Look, I tell the wife. I used to tell her the backyard, and then used to come up to Sportsplex. She still don't believe me.
Man,
we went
deep.
Backyard, UCB, TCB,
Yep.
Raw Image,
Yep.
all in this Sportsplex.
This was in their heyday.
For $20.
Yeah.
This was prime time. This is when everybody was healthy. This when everybody was still hitting. It wasn't no band versus band. Like, everybody was good.
And, like, the joint was actually big enough to where you didn't have to be tucked up under somebody. Like, if you wanted to be up front in the circle, you could. If you wanted to get your own space towards the back, you could. Like,
I never understood that.
The Sportsplex was huge, dog.
Like, the CFE was big like that. Well, not as big. But then niggas still...
as big, but it was big.
But niggas still be, like, on top of each other. I'm like, bro, there's so much space in this drink. Why do y'all have to be all bunching up? You know what I'm saying? But everybody want to be up front. Everybody want to be throwing their hoods up and shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that's when I started realizing that there was a few hoods in Montgomery County.
Yeah.
Because them Lincoln Park niggas stay fucking fighting,
They came strong.
But, that man, so many good times, bro. So many good times.
Yeah.
So many. I was talking to Carlos the other day, man. He was, and Marcus, they was talking about the Fab Five, the basketball shit. I was like, oh, I forgot about that.
Back,
who was that? It was me, you, Carlos, Corelli, and Marcus.
Yeah.
Undefeated out here. Holler at me. We probably
about that, bro.
Yeah, we probably still get niggas off the court.
I forgot all about that. God.
So once you graduated from the school, where you go from there?
So I graduated from the school, Virginia Beach. I moved back home to Maryland. And I moved back home to Maryland, and I got a job at Sears Auto Center as just my regular 9 to 5 as a mechanic. And then I kind of got into the racing stuff part-time. Because my dad...
Well, pull it towards you.
Because my dad was pretty much still involved. So to back it up, like my dad was painting cars.
Mm-hmm.
And because I grew up around motorcycles, which is, now that you're into motorcycles, it kind of came full circle.
Nice.
Yeah. So I grew up around motorcycles. My dad was racing motorcycles. So then as that was going, he was also painting cars. And I would always go to the racetrack with him with his motorcycle because I was the kid that anything that had wheels on it, I was about.
What bike was he racing?
He was all Jixas. He had 700. He had 750s, 1100s. He had the big motor, the 1300.
Busa?
Nah, this is before Busa. This is like 90s.
Oh shit, man!
Yeah, this is old school. So once he started painting cars, and then somebody asked him, "Hey, I need some help. You know motorcycles. Come help me with the car." And my dad was just always brought me along because he knew I liked it. So from there, like that first time he went to go help somebody, I went. I was like 10, and I was hooked. So every time he went, I went. And then it just got to the point where I was that 10-year-old kid that was just wanted to do and learn anything I could or anything you put me around.
Man, I mean, when you get put in that, because that's not normal, you know what I'm saying, to get put in that type of environment. Now, I say normal, I'm talking about it's not normal for African Americans.
Nah, because
to be around a racetrack, you know what I'm saying, and pops or moms, you know what I'm saying, is in this industry doing this, you know what I'm saying. Maybe it's just a hobby, but it's like even now, it's like Aiden is like when I first took him, Aiden wanted to go to the track, and he just wanted to find other kids.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I remember that. I think it was the second time I took him. I took him this summer. We did track day. It was 4th of July. And, you know, it was the end of the day, and I was on the track. And it's like when I'm on the track, I don't know where he's at because we're all in the same group. So I'm kind of trusting him to be where the fuck he needs to be, which is in the tower. You know what I'm saying? When I come off, I look at the tower, I don't see him. Go back to the paddock in my pit area, I don't see him. So I'm like, bro, where the fuck is this boy at? I'm walking around the paddock. Aiden is all the way at the entrance when you first come in with some random family, and they like giving them fireworks. So I come over there, joint, and I'm like, Aiden, what the fuck you doing? You know what I'm saying? They're like, oh, I'm like, nah. So I grab Aiden ass. I'm like, dog, don't ever fucking scare me like that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, like, I'm on the track for 20 minutes. A lot can happen in 20. You could be halfway up the fucking road by then. You know what I'm saying? So for a period of time, I didn't want to take Aiden because, I felt like when I go to the track, like that's my little mini vacation.
Right.
And it's like I only want to concentrate on the bike. I guess you could say I've been a little selfish, but it's hard when you go up there and it's like, you know what I'm saying? I'm out here. It's 100 fucking degrees. I'm sweating. I'm trying to get the warmers back on the bike. I'm trying to sit down and get something to drink. And then I got to go look around for my son because he's on his bicycle.
I mean, some of it is a competitiveness, too. It's not all.
It's definitely competitive.
Like,
it's
that's
definitely.
why you're there.
Yeah,
and
then it's like, I had a food set up for him. I'm like, Eddie, all your food is right here. I come back. It's 2, 3 o'clock. He ate. I'm like, bro, eat. Or I have to tell him to sit down because he overheating. He's sweating like shit because he don't want to stop playing.
Right.
But this was also a result of we live in a neighborhood. There was no kids. You know what I'm saying? So he like, shit, there's kids here. I need to get in where I can fit in. You know what I mean? So I think it's cool when I see other folks out there, when they got their sons or daughters. But they usually had a wife with them or the girlfriend or whoever.
Right.
But, Lila she didn't care for the track.
Right.
You know what I mean? So she didn't come to the track until I started racing, where I was like, okay, it's my first race weekend, so I would love for you to be here. And I really was pushing it because everybody else's wife was there.
But do you think she realized what it meant to you, like how important it was to you at the time?
I think when she came up there, and she saw what was going on, and she was trying to be real helpful. You know what I'm saying? And I think when she saw what was going on and how my mood was when she was there and all, I think she appreciated it.
Right.
You know what I mean? To the fact where it's like, okay, at this point, I'm only asking you to come to maybe 1 or maybe 2 race weekends a year.
Right.
That's the only thing I'm asking you to come to. And that's why I was just like, well, down the line, like, I want to have my trailer, my fully set up, you know what I'm saying, trailer. That way it's comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. We may be on an air mattress, you know what I'm saying, but at least, you know what I'm saying, you're comfortable. There's a TV in there, there's a fridge in there. You can kind of sort of be at home. And then you may want to stay the whole time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm sleeping in the tent in the back of the truck. She ain't getting in there. You know what I'm saying? She's not getting in there.
You couldn't expect her to either.
No. I wouldn't want her to, but I definitely wanted her, especially, to Summit, which is only like an hour, a little over an hour from the house. I'm like, I mean, you can come on up here, you know what I'm saying? Especially if it's the weekend, you ain't doing shit.
No, I get that. I get that for sure.
But so you was at Sears, and I know you wasn't feeling that shit.
Nah, I was at Sears just doing regular mechanic work.
You was doing, I remember you were telling me you was in there doing some oil changes and some bullshit like that.
Batteries, tires, and alignments and stuff like that, and brakes, and that's about as far as you can go there.
So at what point we was just like, all right, fuck this, I'm out of here.
So like I got there and I was doing part-time race stuff where I was working on teams part-time. By part-time meaning when they have a race and they need help, I would just go there for the weekend. So somebody else would do all the regular maintenance of the car. I would go there for the weekend at that race, work on the car during the race.
That was local, like home. Buzz Creek or some shit.
Buzz Creek or the Carolinas, because Buzz Creek, like we had some racing at Buzz Creek, but a lot of racing was in the South. It was in the Carolinas, North Carolina, South Carolina. That was before. We didn't really get into Georgia or anything yet, but it was mainly like Virginia and the Carolinas. So and that's what it was just heavy there, to where like almost every weekend there was something going on. So like I was doing that, and I was working with smaller teams to where really that's all they can afford.
How was you getting in contact with these folks?
It was still through my dad.
Oh, your dad was still putting you on.
It was a lot of it was still the teams like me and my dad were going. So like the crew was me and my dad. So me and him be working together. So like it literally like pretty much it was Chris and Chris Jr. It's kind of how Lil Chris is what I was referred to as. Shout out Pops, but it was pretty much like Chris and Lil Chris. So and then I kind of just as I got older, I kind of established like okay, this is his part of the car, this is my part of the car, and I was responsible for that for mine, and so was he in his, and that kind of just kept working towards different teams that it was only like 3 or 4, but we would just go with them on a regular basis.
Yeah. And I know I remember after that, that's when you was just like, you know, what did you say you was moving to Texas or something?
I got to tell you, there's one of the teams that we helped that my dad had helped like in the past, and they had quit racing for a little while. And the dude called my dad and it's like, I'm coming back racing. I got 2 cars. He was in Houston. He was just north of Houston, Texas, pretty much a suburb of Houston.
Mm-hmm.
And he called and was like, look, I'm looking for help. I hire your son. And then my dad put him in, gave him my number. He called me and was like, look, and for me, I'm like, I can go racing full time. I'm in. I didn't care where it was. Because I knew, like, there was only, like, 1 or 2 opportunities local at home. And they weren't necessarily the best choice. So it was like, it was 1 or 2 options, and I knew outside of that I had to move. So I kind of knew that. I understood it. I was prepared for it.
And Janae, your wife, she was still here at the time, right?
Yeah, she was still in Maryland. But when we met, which was my senior year of high school, we met at Edison. And when we met, I was still, like, even in high school, I was going out and doing racing stuff on weekends.
Mm-hmm.
So when we met, I was kind of already doing this and traveling. Like, we met, I don't know, like a Thursday or Friday. And then that weekend, I was gone in, like, North Carolina at a race. And we were talking on the phone, and she was still trying to figure out what I was doing while I was gone.
What the hell was going on?
Yeah. So, like, we met. She'd been with me from the beginning, so I was already doing racing and in racing when I met her. So it kind of, like, it's good for me now because it helped we built a relationship around it.
Yeah.
Which is tough.
It is, man. I mean, but, it's a job, man, at the end of the day. But, I mean, she been working from home forever.
Yeah.
She been working from home since before that shit became cool.
Yeah, she been working. When we moved to Atlanta, I moved to Atlanta in 2010. She been working from home. Her same job in VA that she got now. When she used to work in the office there, she moved to Atlanta in 2010 and just they let her work from home. And she's been doing it since then. Nice. Before the 2020 COVID.
Before the real stay home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's been doing it since then. So
yeah, I remember you told me you was in Houston. I was like, what?
Yeah, bro.
You know what I mean? But you was down there. How long was you in Houston?
I was in Houston like a year and a half. It was in Spring, Texas, but it was Houston hot, bro. Like I know, like Maryland, Georgia, like Houston. That zone is the weather is crazy in Houston.
So I mean, what was the pros and cons of that team? I mean, you just felt like it was cool because you was new, or you just felt like that was just a stepping stone before I had to find somebody else?
It was a stepping stone. Like, it was cool because that was my first full-time deal, and I got there. They had 2 race cars. They had a shop behind their house. They actually had a crew house to where they had a place for me to stay in. So when I went there, I moved out my apartment, what I had. They gave me a house there, and then I would go work there like 2 or 3 months, and I'd go home for like a month. And they gave me a straight yearly salary, but if we're racing and we're busy, I'm in Houston for 2 months. But if we're off, I'm home for a month, still getting paid, but I'm home for a month.
Oh, so it was pretty sweet.
So, like, when it was off, it was sweet. But when you're working, I mean, you pretty much, you down there with really nobody else no family. You ain't got your girl, like, for like a month, 2 months, and we're traveling a lot. So when I came back home, I was staying with her. So, like, I was in her apartment, and she was still in school. So, like.
So you fucking around being in the spot, she gone half the day.
Yeah.
Bring me some chips home when you get home.
Right.
Shit.
Right.
Damn, bro. It's already a lot of traveling, man. And you haven't even really scratched the surface on from what you've been doing.
Nah, like back then I was doing. I think we were probably doing 10. I'm gonna say 12 weekends. 12.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more than that. But a lot of it was me just being down there working. But they actually hooked me up. They brought somebody in to teach me, like, I knew the basics and kind of just the mechanics. But they, hey, we're going to send somebody where you can teach you how to rebuild the engine, just teach you how to do pretty much everything from the front to back of the car. So they really kind of helped.
So they was fully investing in you.
Yeah, they kind of helped really kickstart it.
Yeah.
And they was teamed up with another dude in South Carolina, which is did a lot of the kind of pull me under the ropes and help teach me. But I landed. It was like a year and a half, and then they decided they was gonna stop racing. So it pretty much left me out.
But I mean, it sounded like they already knew, and they was just like, "Well, let me just put you through it, give you as much knowledge as we can before we send you off."
Yeah, and that's pretty much what happened. Like they was racing heavy, and I think something work wise happened to where they realized like, all right, we gotta sit tight for a second. But we paying this kid, so we gotta do something. So the dude that they was teamed up with, pretty much was like, all right, well, I'm already been teaching him. He can come with me. I'll take him over to my team.
This was in Georgia.
This was in South Carolina. So this is when I left Houston and went to South Carolina. And and I was in South Carolina.
Shit sound like basketball. Right, look, we're gonna have to cut you, man. And then next thing you know, free agent Brandon Stroud picked up by South Carolina.
Oh, it was I was moving around, but that's what it took to kind of stay involved, to keep moving, working your way up. As soon as you sit back and kind of like, oh, I'm gonna take a break.
You know, it's crazy. I remember when you pretty much told me, we was like, I'm not coming back home, bro. I was like, oh man. I had just thought that I was like, man, maybe he'll just strike oil down there and then he can come back home. But when you said that, you was like, bro, the industry is not there.
Nah.
And I was like, damn, this sucks. You know what I'm saying? This fucking sucks. But then I guess that was the same way when I said I was leaving to go to the service type deal. You know what I mean?
It was
so
kinda,
I understood it, man. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, at this, like you following your dream out here. You know what I'm saying? Like you doing something that you want to do as a child, which is just very, very fucking rare for anybody.
Nah, it's true.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
So you got to South Carolina.
I got there. I was there for a year and a half, and that dude was a well-known racer that had won a lot of championships. He was like kind of in that class. He was kind of the top of the top, and he had a lot of history behind him. His name meant something. Like it's kind of, if you was gonna work for somebody, he was tough to work for, but that's the person you'd want to work for because you're gonna learn.
Yeah.
And that kind of, he took me under his wing.
Yeah.
Him and my pops had a relationship prior to that, so he
Man, Pops knew every fucking body, didn't he?
Yeah, Pops was, because he was painting cars. So everybody they was the sweet spot you went to if you wanted your race car painted. So, he knew everybody, and he was the main painter. So, dude was kind of like, all right, well, I'm going to take your son.
How long was it taking him to paint them cars? Just a basic design.
2 weeks. 2-3 weeks. Damn. They be on it hot and heavy, but 2 or 3 weeks they can use.
Just back to back. Probably had them motherfuckers lined up like, I'm next.
And then if you get the real in-depth ones, obviously they take a little longer just because of the artwork. But I was there. I was in South Carolina for, I'm going to say, a year and a half, almost 2 years.
Then you went to Georgia.
And I went to Georgia because the dude in South Carolina lost his sponsor. And the sponsor is pretty much the dude funding the money so you can race. So when he lost his sponsor, he pretty much told me, he gave me the heads up, like, look, I don't have no money coming in. I'm probably not going to race. So you need to kind of start looking for what your next move is. But he told me, he was like, I'll help you however I can because, we left on really good terms. He was like, these are kind of 2 or 3 people that are high up in race teams that I know that I'll put a good word in for you. And one of them happened to be the job in Georgia.
You ever feel like, because what is it? How many times did it happen? Twice?
Yeah, 3.
Did you ever feel like, man, maybe this shit ain't it? You know what I'm saying?
Nah, I didn't. Only I really don't have like a give up or quit type of deal. Like if I'm gonna up and move and relocate, then I'm in it. Like ain't no point of there wasn't no point of me going to Texas in the first place if I was gonna quit. That's the way I looked at it.
That's true.
Like if you're gonna go in, you're gonna go in both feet. And I knew like, all right, at the path that I was at, and I was learning, and I knew kind of like people was kind of look like, and I'm the black kid out there where it's really not any, but they was really like kind of showing me love, and all the older heads was taking me under their wing.
Yeah, how was that? How was that being in that environment? You're the only black person there.
It's different. It's different, but
you felt like people kind of like trying to like size you up just to see where you was at, or they just knew, like I'm just in here trying to fit in just like everybody else.
I think if your first impression is they try to size you up, but once you get into the racing at that level, it was more or less like everybody's into racing, into cars, and like the first impression is like, oh, I'm gonna size I got this black kid here, blah blah blah. But once we get going, they like, okay, well, he's into it just as much as I am. And he's smart and picking up what we're doing, so it almost like they forget what you look like because you're getting the job done, and they see like, because all these this is an old sport, so when you start seeing youth come in, and they're excited and they're hungry and they jumping.
That's
in,
what you want.
Yeah, that's
Keep
what the people was
going.
gravitating towards.
I remember seeing but when I came up to Buzz, Creaky was up there, and I was just watching. And I watching. I was like, my niggas over here telling these motherfuckers what to do.
Yeah.
Like, nah, get that shit. I'm like, God, nigga, you know what I'm saying? Just a single tear just rolled down my eye. I said, my nigga that made it, bro. Like,
yeah, man.
You definitely came a long way, man. I just also remember when we came down, the first time we came out of Georgia, you took me to that shop that looked like an abandoned fucking warehouse. And I walk in and see all these fucking cars.
That was
Lambos and all this shit. And I'm my loud ass, God damn. And the lady's like, no pictures. I was like, this bitch.
You came.
I was mad,
hot,
bro.
I was. You came in too hot.
You should have told me that shit.
I tried to give you the heads up.
You should have been like, look, you about to see some wild shit. Don't.
I did, bro. I did. I know you. It still wasn't enough to prepare you for.
Hell no. I come in and it's a yellow Lamborghini right in front of me. I'm like, bro, I ain't never seen no Lamborghini in my life up close.
You did come in wildin'.
I came in that joint crazy, bro. And that's when I was like, bro, like, you around this shit all day. And then it's like he just had the cars. They were just sitting there like them joints was just all on fucking trickle charges. I'm like, so you don't even drive these shits. You just got them to look at.
Most of the guys that do it, like they're in your top 1-2% like of wealthy. Because I mean, this is their hobby. To where you. Got
I remember you told me that
golf,
shit.
Like,
you was telling me like what some of these owners do.
Yeah.
Well, like what's their living? You said a guy owned a box company or some shit.
One of the dudes I race for now owns a cardboard company where they pretty much
fucking cardboard boxes.
But he owns like the plant where they get the logs and take the logs and turn them into paper to make the cardboard. Like he got the whole. But you really step back and think about it, every place has cardboard.
Every place. So I'm just like, you telling me everybody in the world getting cardboard from this one or two niggas type deal.
Like you just got to think about them businesses that like everybody uses their product.
Mm-hmm.
So like that dude in Georgia, which is what the team you're talking about when you came in the building, that was the reason I moved to Georgia to get that job. The dude that had that, they owned a pharmaceutical company, but what he had was like they did the programming for prescriptions. So like if you went to CVS and handed them your prescription, his company and his software scanned it and tells them what pills to grab.
That tech shit is king now, man.
So like every time somebody scans a prescription, he got paid.
Damn.
So clearly he wasn't hurting.
And just like, well, you know, I'm getting a little bit of money. Let me just go ahead and start a race team. You know what I'm saying? Just a hobby. Damn, that's crazy, man.
No, it's wild.
So you think has the culture changed now? Is there more black people getting into the sport, or are you still one of the few diamond in the roughs out there?
There is, but it's still. I mean, you're still talking a small percentage. There is. We're heavier, more like you touched on motorcycle scene for sure, and then the grudge scene for sure is really big. But like on a professional level, it's a slow progress. Like it's probably 10%.
I think it's
like,
more coming, man. When you look at these sports, man. You look at motorsports. You look at F1. You know, you look at NASCAR. You know what I'm saying?
It's coming,
and they coming. We just slowly.
It's slow, yeah. It's a slow.
Slowly, just kind of infiltrating. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just like for me. You know, on the Championship Cup Series or the ASRA motorcycle. This is just club racing. This ain't Moto America or Moto GP, World Superbike. None of that shit. Like and just in those sports. I mean, even in Moto America. Those are all Americans, but there's no black people,
right?
That I know of. World Superbike, there's only one American that I know of,
right?
In MotoGP, there's an American racing team,
right?
But in Championship Cup, you'll have like the fast guys. One just passed away. Rest in peace to Lord Bailey. He was like king endurance race.
Right.
He had the same bike as me, just a newer model, BMW S1000RR. Just passed a little while ago at Homestead in Florida.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
And I don't know what happened. I just said he hit a wall, and that was it. But this dude, he would come to Summit. So dude, he really only chased the endurance race money because he would do it by himself. So you can have up to 4 people. And the race is like 2 hours, 3 hours, like 100 laps. Damn. However quick you finish it. And we will watch this dude on used tires, do it by himself and run a consistent time the entire race. He would come off, get gas, drink a bottle of water, and go back out. And he will win the race by way further. Like, he will be fucking, 4 or 5 laps ahead of anybody behind him, even folks on the same bike.
That's wild.
And he was the only black dude that I knew offhand was a problem, you know, whether it was present or in his when he first started, he was a problem for the explorations. But now it's all white guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just think that's just motorsports. You know what I'm saying? It's a predominantly white sport. Or if you go overseas or Spanish or stuff like that, but I love all motorsports, man.
Same here.
You know,
Same here.
Anything, if it's a car, if it's a bike, you know, even a fucking boat, like I'm watching that shit.
Oh, I'm the same way.
You know, and I definitely try to just show Aiden, like, you know, this shit fun too. You know, it ain't basketball, but it should be fun. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I mean, only thing I probably can't get into is a NASCAR.
I can't either. I can't. And
no disrespect to NASCAR, but that shit boring.
No, I have no disrespect.
Unless I'm there.
I was about to say the only thing that might change, like I would go to one just because I feel like any live motorsport. For me, I'm a live event person anyway. Yeah. So I definitely go to one just to check it out. But I think you're gonna get more of the real experience, which that's anything. Yeah. But I can't. That's probably the one thing. If I had to pick the least one I'm interested in, it'd be that.
Mm. So I know when you were going to your races, you were having to drive.
Yeah. So like when you get a job in that as a crew guy, which is pretty much a race mechanic. Yeah. One of the job tasks is you got to have a CDL and you got to be able to drive the rig because all our stuff. I mean, those teams they got tractor trailers, so to really get the solid job, I mean, you have to be one of the guys that drives a rig because the crew is usually two guys. They both work on the car and they both drive the truck to all the races, and we're talking 12 to 15 events all over the country. Yeah. So like I had to get my CDL.
Well, you didn't have no issue getting that. You was good on that.
Yeah, no, I was good. I had no issue getting that.
Yeah. Because I know you used to call me, and once I realized, I was like, oh, this nigga's driving. Yeah. So when he used to call, I was like, well, I got to make the time because I know he probably fucking tired. I know you can only drive a certain amount of hours a day. So all I'm telling you was by yourself, you had somebody with you?
Most of the time I had somebody with me. Okay. But there were a decent amount of them I was by myself.
Like, what's the furthest you drove by yourself?
Vegas. From Atlanta to Vegas.
Ooh. And that's what, like?
That's like 30 hours. It was like 2,000 miles. But you would break it up. Like, I'd do it in like 2.5 days. So I'd do like a full day. And I had like points where like we knew, once you do it, because you go to the same racetracks every year. Mm-hmm. So you kind of know points to stop. I knew I can leave Atlanta and I can go to Oklahoma City. All right, I can get there. Then the next day I go from Oklahoma City and I go to Arizona. And then that third day from Arizona, I'm only like 4 or 5 hours from Vegas. So, like, I kind of knew my points to where I can make it to. Damn. But that's by far, by myself, the furthest I've drove. I've drove further than that with somebody else.
I mean, I just never can get in, never understand, like, the trucker life, because that's some trucker shit, nigga. Just hop in there, you got your fucking earphone joint on, yeah. And you just go, and you just stop when you need to. I mean, how many times are you stopping? You driving straight to these destinations and you stop. You're not stopping in between.
Nah, I stop like in a day. You stop for lunch and you try to time it out to where you get fuel and get lunch around the same time, and you don't have like a quick, bathroom stop, like a quick rest area throughout the middle. So I mean, no more than really 3 until you get there at nighttime.
3 hours?
No, 3 stops.
Oh, 3 stops.
Yeah, I do like you get going in the morning. You might stop one for you got pissed and you keep going and you stop at lunch. But I try not to stop as much because just the more stops, the longer it takes the trip. The longer it makes it. So I be trying to like just push through.
So then you slept in the truck?
Nah. We would stop and get hotel rooms.
Oh, okay.
So we stop and park everything at the hotel and get hotel rooms. That way you can at least get a decent sleep. Like we get a room, get a good shower, wake up the next morning and get it again.
Bro, it's not enough music to listen to, bro. It ain't enough movies to download on your phone. It's like, I just couldn't imagine it, dog. I mean, even driving down here, like, you know what I'm saying? I let the wife, I was like, you listen to everything you want to listen to until it's time for me to get the aux cord. And then I'm playing everything I want to hear. And once I got the plug, I was just good to go. 8 hours later, like, all right, you can drive. You know what I'm saying?
Music did it for me. Like, I wish podcasts was popping back then.
Shit.
That podcast right now will get me through when I'm driving. But they wasn't really big back then. But yeah. So, like, it was... when it's part of your job, like
you get used to it.
Yeah, you get used to it because like it's expected. It's different if like you show up and you're like, oh wait, I gotta drive. But if going into it, like, hey, look, you got to do this, this, and this, you kind of just you're forced to get used to it.
Yeah. You ain't never drive off to like I don't know, got a couple of hours of sleep the night before type deal, have you?
Nah, because to me, like we're not just driving a regular. Like what we driving, this the race truck, race trailer, the race cars in it. Like you got like $1 million worth of stuff in it. So that's too much responsibility for me to like.
Yeah, to fuck that up.
Bullshit. Yeah.
So now you pretty much a crew chief now.
Yeah.
And you about as high as you can go besides being a owner?
Besides being an owner, yeah. Like I'm a crew chief now, and I manage some of the other crew guys and mechanics that work under me, and kind of help teaching them to where now I don't drive no more. So now I fly everywhere.
Okay.
Which is upgrade.
Hell yeah.
And the wife's loving that now because I ain't got to be gone.
You in and out. You in and out.
I'm in and out.
Man?
So yeah, now like I'm pretty much all the mechanics and the crew guys are working under me.
Okay.
So
what's next? What's the plan? I mean, where do you go from here? You know what I'm saying? You just keep maintaining what you're doing, or I mean,
yeah, like once you get there, like it's now you're kind of like you're really building your I'm gonna say your legacy. You're building your name. Like you got to work to get to the crew chief. So now it's like, all right, now you're a crew chief. There's people that they're just a crew chief, and then there's all right. He's won championships and he's won this. So now, like, you kind of got to go out there against the people that's been doing it and really earn your stripes, so to say. So, like, now it's really like I've won races. I've won races as a crew guy. Now I've won races as a crew chief, but I've never won a championship as a crew chief.
So that's the goal.
The goal is championship. I've won championship as a crew guy, but not as a crew chief. So that's the goal, and it's tough.
You think that's like getting a fucking ring or some shit?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's the same thing as getting the ring. Yeah, for sure. It's tough.
That's what's up, man. I mean, so you have any advice for like somebody who may be contemplating wanting to get into the field?
Yeah, man. If you think about it, like come out to the race. Like it's intimidating when you go there and you see it all, but like majority of the teams there want youth. They want because they know that's how you're gonna keep the sport alive. You got to bring the youth in. So like if you're interested in it, you want to come out there. You come out there and just start chatting with the people, like chop it up with them. Like majority of them will talk to you, and you can end up like getting, hey, I'll bring you on next weekend. You could just try it out. You know, we can see. Tell me what you think.
I remember the owner guy. He was talking to me.
Yeah,
and he was pretty much asking how the comparison was
right
to like the setup, and I was like, well, first of all, y'all got a lot more shit. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, as far as like the paddock area, I was like, it's the same.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, y'all are just a little bit more professional. I thought it was cool when I saw those really small cars.
For the kids. Yeah.
I thought them shits was cool, but I was just like, I mean, you know, if it was like a Motor America race weekend or something, I was like, we wouldn't even really be able to be this close. You know, they don't really want people, you know, touching shit and all that like that. But you know, I was like, you know, you'll see two of the same exact bikes. You know what I'm saying? A rain bike. You might see 3. You know, you'll see the guy there with his fucking sunglasses on, mirror tint joints, and with his Red Bull, his Monster Energy hat. I was like, same shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, I think it's the race culture scene is universal. I think it's the same.
It is, and it's actually like they're fairly friendly. Like it's
real
inviting. Like it's like you walk into it, you don't realize like, hey, everybody cool. Like because it's car guys or bikes or anything. Everybody's into it.
That that was one of the things that actually won me over when I said I wasn't gonna ride on the street no more. It was just like, you know, I would be on the bike, you know what I mean, riding on the street locally. You know, I would pull up to the boulevard, or I'll be out the city somewhere. I would pull up, you know, maybe Georgetown or Adams Morgan, and it would just be me, or maybe me and one other person. We waiting for some folks or something to go do a run. And it'll be a whole another group of dudes right across from us, right across the street, and they wouldn't say nothing. You know what I'm saying? You may have one that may come over, just be really looking at your bike.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like no type of conversation. Really you know what I'm saying? We'll go to the track, and when we came to the track, we came deep.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
You know, we came 30, 40, 50 deep. You know what I'm saying? We here. We about to take this shit over.
You go get some attention. You roll in.
And it was people just coming. It was just random people just coming over to us, looking at our bikes. You know, and it was like initially we kind of felt like we was being targeted because everyone was always saying something like, "Oh, you know, you probably should fix this." But no, niggas' bikes was fucked up. You know what I'm saying? People bikes shit was loose, shit was falling apart. You know what I mean? Tires was worn, shit that we don't pay attention to, which is very important.
But they gonna call you out on that.
And they'll say that. They'll say that. Be like, well, You're not about to be on the track with me with that shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll go tell her, like, yeah, this guy's bike's leaking oil.
It's the same way with cars. It's the exact same way.
For real? They'll come, people be poaching on your shit?
No, people be like, nah, I don't want to run against him. His junk, he don't look like he got it together. Look like it's leaking. I don't trust it. Let him go ahead and go. I'll go behind him. Like, it's the same way. Like, because I mean, that's what they do. So they recognize it off the break.
I mean, like I said, this is just a track day. We ain't talking about racing.
Right.
Man, we were doing a race in Jersey, and this was the same weekend I fell. And the lady, the flag lady, you know, what they do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
So when they get to 2, they go to 1, and then they turn it, and then the lady throws the flag up.
Okay.
So they have the experts in front of us, and we're the amateurs. So they just keep us separated. So of course the experts go first, and then they wait for them to get, you know, kind of like a couple of turns ahead, and then they'll let us go.
Okay.
But when they have the 2 up, you know, we're like no. So it's like we're waiting to go, and the lady is like looking down the track, and she's like. So everybody looking down, you know what I'm saying? Everybody temp skyrocketing, and this dude bike starts smoking, right? And you know, and he was on like this front first or second row. So now we can't go because this dude got to push his bike off the track. So they red flagged the session and had us come on. We're like, why the fuck would you do that? You know what I'm saying? And that happens a lot, and that's why my launch is so bad. Because for me, I'm just like, I would rather just be like. You know, just be and go. I don't want to be sitting there holding it, and I'm wondering, you know what I'm saying, when to go. Like, I just want to do it simultaneously, and it would be better for me.
Right.
But it's kind of hard because I haven't been racing 2 years. So it's kind of hard to time it. But some of them dudes, they'll come in, they won't even rev their shit. They'll just be like, and just hit it and go. You know what I mean?
I feel like they need a better procedure for that. Like that.
It needs to be a way better procedure.
Yeah.
It needs to be way better. Like, it should be like, I mean, I don't know. Depending on depending on the track, how advanced your technology is, it should be like some lights.
I was gonna say zones. Like, if you gotta wait for all the first set of bikes to clear this zone of the racetrack, you know, like, all right, we're at the zone before that. Get ready.
Yeah.
You know, like, all right, they're about to clear this zone. So
you gotta think these are volunteers. That are doing this at the track. That's doing these flags and the pit. The guys that's at the turns and the towers. They're volunteers.
That's true.
So there's been times where there's been a bike off in the grass, and it's oil on the track, and the guy just sitting there looking like he don't know if he supposed to put the flag up. Yes, you're supposed. If you see any type of fluid on the track, you need to stop the fucking race. Next thing you know, 3 bikes come through.
You setting them up.
You talking, $10,000-$15,000 worth of damage, and it's like some of these guys, they racing for money.
Right.
Like, these dudes they putting on fresh tires every race. You know what I'm saying? Some of these dudes is changing their oil every race weekend. They race 2 weeks. They got fresh oil in. I'm putting new oil in again. This how anal some people are because they want to win that money. You know what I'm saying?
I get it. That's
to have these little mistakes, it's nothing worse than something happening and you just doing what you're supposed to do. You riding and somebody running in the back of you, or the the race supposed to stop. They ain't stop it. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not gonna lie. Like, a lot of that's the same as what we deal with. The little details are really what separate you.
Yeah.
You dialing in them little details on the oil, the tires, all that. Like, them details are what separate you from everybody else out there.
Okay, so give me some pros and cons of the sport, and then I want you to give me just a crazy incident you ever had on a race weekend.
Pros and cons. I mean, for me, it's what I love doing. So it's hard because I mean that's my passion. So, but like the pros. I'll give you one that's a pro and a con, depending on how it reflects you. The traveling.
Mm-hmm.
The traveling for me, I like traveling. So like we go to different tracks all the way across, really the world now. I would say mainly the country, but it's took me to now. I've been a lot of different places outside of U.S. But the cons can also be the traveling because when you got a family, you got a wife, like not every situation or relationship is built to handle that.
Yeah.
Because I'm gone a lot, but I'm gone a lot during the summer and spring. Like when you would want to be home doing things.
Exactly.
Is when I'm gone. So like our season, like right now, is my off season. So our season's over at like my last race is October, early November, and then we don't pick back up till March. So that's when usually everybody is cold. It's winter.
It's a good break though.
It's a good break, but we in between time is when you also doing all your changes, and then we go testing in Florida during this break. So it's like I'm never really shut down. All we're doing is making changes, preparing to go test. Then we'll go to Florida for a quick few days, test the parts out, come back home. All right, yeah, that worked. No, that didn't work.
But that mean them trips got to be on point. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. So that's like the pros and cons. I mean, you're gonna travel a lot especially when you get to the professional level, because to really be successful at it, you got to be out there, and then you can get to where they got different series. Like I work on different teams for different series. I got this team that just does this series, NHRA, which is like quarter mile racing. Then I got another team that does PDRA, which is eighth mile racing, where the two series aren't stacked on dates with each other. But I got like 12 with this series and another 8 with this series, all different weekends. I mean, majority of the time, I'm gone 23 to 25 weekends a year. I'm at a racetrack.
That's half. Shit.
Exactly. And that's not counting like me going testing. So like, but it's also took me to where now I've been to racetracks in Dominican Republic. I've been to Australia. I've been to Qatar. I've been to Bahrain. I've been to Kuwait. Canada. Like, it's allowed me to go a lot of different places to where I would probably obviously never even fathom of like, oh yeah, we're gonna go here. So the Middle East definitely was a experience.
Yeah, I remember. I remember seeing that picture. I was like, damn, my man looking rough over that joint.
Yeah, the Middle East is an experience.
But yeah, shit, it worked out for you. Shit, the wedding was nice, man.
That first trip, it's like you go out there. I mean, they pay you for being away from your family and being in the Middle East. That first trip I did was to Qatar, and that trip pretty much gave me the money to have our wedding. I came right back and was like, all right, let's do the wedding. Like, spend the whole joint right there.
He's like, yeah,
let's go.
We're just going to go ahead and swipe all that shit, man.
I mean, without that, we wouldn't have been able to have the wedding we had, which I felt like our joint was pretty much turned into a party.
Yeah, it was.
The wedding was live.
So you think you're gonna push Jameson? You think you're gonna try to get him into it?
I'm not gonna push him.
Not really push him, but just kind of keep him.
He's in the cars already, but he's going to be around it, obviously, because of what I do. And I'm gone so much now to where me and my wife really really put effort into, if I'm gone 3 or 4 weekends in a row, I try to bring her and the kids to at least 1 or 2 of them.
Okay.
To where it's not like I'm away for them for that long.
Yeah.
So she don't mind coming to them, and it's kid friendly, and most of my teams are set up. I mean, obviously they know, like, okay, he has a wife and kids, you got to make it all work. So, like, he's around it already, and he likes it. But if he takes to it, then obviously I'm going to take him under and give him everything I can. But if he don't, I'm not going to force it on him.
I think that'd be cool, bro.
I mean, that's what my dad did for me. So, and my dad helped me he helped me a lot get to where I'm at. Without him, it wouldn't happen. So I'm definitely, I mean, you know how to, you definitely willing to do. Yeah. Once you have a kid, I mean, you're definitely willing to do whatever you can to help.
I wish I knew what my son wanted to do. Right now, I think he's just being a 10-year-old right now.
Yeah,
man. It's like, you know, he just know. I know he's smart.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The boy gets straight A's. You know what I mean? He's smart. You know, I think he's starting to become tech savvy.
Yeah.
You know, he's coming to me like, oh, I had to do this and do it. I'm like, okay, I see you.
That's the difference now. Like, back then, we didn't have, like, we was in, like, the beginning of tech.
Yeah.
To where now you pretty much need to be tech savvy.
You have to be tech savvy now. You got to.
Yeah.
Like, that, you know, that virtual school and shit, and I'm just like, you taking your homework, and they doing homework on a computer, and he transferring it here and there. I'm like, this nigga know how to transfer shit, dog? What the fuck? You know what I mean? But, you know, whatever he want to do, I fully support him, man. But I definitely think it would be cool to see Jameson like, all right, Daddy, you go have a seat. I'm gonna go ahead and take over.
Hey, I would.
You know what I mean?
It'd be cool for me. I know it'd be cool for my pops just to keep it going just down the line. So it definitely, I'd be all about it for sure.
Yeah. So give me the wild story. I know you got one.
I'm trying to think of one.
I know you got one, man. I know it. I be seeing the YouTube, man. The fucking cars be flipping back and shit and all that.
Like, you got wild crashes and wild. I mean, like Qatar over there. You're pretty much in the desert. So we've been over. Like, I went over there. I was there for 2 months straight. Didn't come back home. We got one break in between. He was there for 3 weeks. Had a break, and then it was another 4 weeks. Over there was a little wild because the culture. Everything is so different. Like, everything. They got like U.S. like you got like Papa John's and food like that. You can still get somewhere you can eat decent.
Yeah.
But like we go out there, we'll be racing, and we will not race for a day just because of like the wind to be too strong, and they blow all the sand from the desert on the racetrack.
On the racetrack.
Yeah, so then they would shut everything down.
So how they keep the shit off?
They don't. Like they just if it gets too windy, they just call it sandstorms. Oh, we got a sandstorm today. We ain't doing nothing.
So somebody got to go out there and brush the shit off.
And they go out there with the little sweeper trucks and just like a street sweeper that you see in the street. They go out there with those and clean it all off for the next day. But like you go out there and then you're around the culture and like I've had some experiences of that. It hasn't really necessarily been the racetrack itself. It's been being more in these different countries where I'm like, yeah, they wildin'. Like,
yeah.
Like
I mean,
the Middle East experience.
People didn't realize how blessed we are. We out here in the United States, man. You go out to some of these third world countries and you see they out here living kind of just living savage out here. You know what I mean? Trust me, I was in Kuwait, bro, and I was like, it's a little hot over here.
Kuwait's hot.
It's hot, bro. I think, listen,
it's hot. It's a different type of heat.
I think Kuwait is the hottest place in the world. Me.
It's a different type of heat. The one thing I'll say about Kuwait, because I've been to Kuwait too, is it is part of why I'm going to say this is because of y'all. Like, Kuwait show Americans love. Like, when you go into Kuwait, it's love. You walk through there. Like, you're in a whole different country, and we can walk through the mall, and clearly they know you're American. And it's like, hey, how are you? Like, it's love. Now, when I go to Bahrain or Qatar, it's not the same feeling. Especially not Qatar.
Why?
Because they just don't feel that way. Kuwait feels that way towards Americans just because of saving them from Iraq.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where they kind of look at. I get that vibe when I go over there. It's like, oh, yeah, you're a part of the fam. Yeah, but Qatar and Bahrain, Bahrain is like the party. They party.
That's where you go to party.
Yeah, that's because Kuwait, alcohol is illegal. So there is no bars. If you go to a bar, it's all non-alcoholic drinks. Pointless. But Bahrain
sound like Oklahoma, no tattoos.
But Bahrain is pretty much like you here, and then like Qatar is the same way. But Qatar, you got to go into the city, like the downtown city, to where there is it's wealthy and then it's dead broke. There is no middle. So when you see those extremes, it's wild.
Damn, bro.
But it's hot, like you said. We go race over there in their winter. Because their summers are way too hot.
So I know, bro. I listen. When we got off the plane in Kuwait, it was June.
Ooh.
Bro, listen. I'm sitting in the back of the plane.
Nah, bro.
I'm sitting in the back of the plane. That lady, she's like, get ready to open the doors. Be ready. So we like, what the fuck? She opened that door, bro. I thought it was like a giant fucking what's the little joint ladies use for the hair? Blow dryer. It's like a giant blow dryer in my face. And we like, bro, like, turn it, close the door, close the fucking door. Dog, my eyes was like, I couldn't see, dog. Like, I had the sunglasses on. So walking like this, we literally walked like 50 feet to the buses.
Bro.
We waited for the bus. We like opened the fucking door, bro. We got on that joint. We all passed out.
And that's the thing, like, and when you go to those countries like Kuwait, they're like, when you get off the plane, it's not like here where you walk into the airport.
No, you're out. We was outside. I'm like, why are we not inside, bro? Like, why would you send us out in the heat?
Yes. You get off the plane and walk onto like the tarmac, like you're outside, and you got to get on a bus. Like the dudes that we work for in Kuwait, they send us pictures, and they be like 127, 130 degrees.
Yeah. It's real. It was and then we was there. We had did a field out. We had it was really just testing the drivers to see if they could find their way around. Just in the desert. So I was like, well, why we gotta go? Yeah. Bro, we got lost. We got lost to the fact that we had to call like for help to get, to get a helo to come and like identify us and direct us back. Dog, we had people like on top of mounted on the gun, like hanging off the joint. Like we had a lot of people who was like severely dehydrated because we was out the joint for like a day longer than we were supposed to. We ran out of water, all that shit.
So, like, y'all go out there during the summer, but, like, I didn't realize this, like, out there, when we go down there through the winter, everybody that lives there goes out to the desert. They call it a campground, where they go out to the desert and they all set up these campgrounds. But to us, a campground is a tent.
Yeah.
Their tents are, like...
They were big.
Their tents have, like, bedrooms, bathrooms.
That's
like,
what we stayed at.
Yeah, they have those set out there, but it's like, it ain't nothing but, like, a big-ass party.
No, we didn't go in we went because that's when we were scheduled to go. We'd go whenever. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, oh, we know we don't only go in the summer.
Right.
We just went. We were just our deployment, and this is just where we ended up. You know what I'm saying? We just ended up going that time. But yeah, it was hot as fuck. But
we
it was
went out there. They party in them campgrounds. Like, I mean, it's nothing but dune buggies and 4-wheelers and like.
They really be doing that shit where they be fucking driving all crazy on them highways and them 4Runners and shit.
They do it. I didn't see it on the highway. We was in the desert. Like we went through the sand dunes where they got all that, and they be jumping the sand dunes and the big hills, and we went out there, and it was pretty much just. I mean, you're talking about like a big ass party where they had like a strip set up where they was drag racing dune buggies and 4-wheelers. They had the strip set up to where they doing stunts. Like, I mean, and it's just nothing but tents and like lights and like a club set up out there. Like we went out there, I was kind of like, oh, y'all got a whole different lifestyle out here. And you're talking like 45 minutes, an hour from the city where you're just driving in the desert. Then all of a sudden it's just
a whole party scene. Yeah, that's crazy.
That was probably one of the wildest experiences. Was that.
Well, I think the good part about your profession is, man, it's like, it's not really any wear and tear on your body or nothing like that. So it's like you can do the shit as long as you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially now. Like now, as the when you get to the crew chief, like I mainly.
You don't really get your hands dirty if you need to, right?
Unless I need to, exactly. Like if there's a couple of things, if we're doing some suspension changes or stuff like that, I'll get down there and mess with it. Or if we're under, what happens is like when you start going rounds through elimination for us, they start speeding up. You don't get as much time in between. So if you really hurt something like an engine or a major part, like it's pretty much everybody there is jumping in to try to help get it fixed in time. And that's where like I'll still jump in and kind of get back to my mechanic roots and get my hands dirty, and then I'll kind of go at the end. Like I'll make sure we can get the car back together, and then like once I realize like all right we good, then I'll switch my hat back over to the tuning side and go get my laptop. I got like my own office in the trailer that I go sit in, and I can kind of sit there and kind of go over my data and figure out all right. I didn't like this from the last run. I do like that. I need to make this. I need to make these changes. And I'll kind of make my changes and get ready for the next run.
So all of this shit that you learn, it's like this ain't nothing this is something you can only learn by doing it.
You're going to learn the most by just getting out there and doing it. The stuff I went to school for, they give you the basics, and they really give me something to fall back on. Like my mom was the one big on like, all right, you need to go to regular automotive school in case you don't get no, because she was, you got to be a realist at some point. She's like, black people
was definitely real.
Yeah, mom was on it. So she was like, if you don't get no racing job, you still need to be able to have a job. Like, what you gonna do? So I'm like, all right, well, I'll be a regular mechanic. So I went and did that. But it still gives you the foundation.
I think it was cool that she actually allowed you. Nowadays, especially the moms, they push college. They push college hard, like college. Like little one Aiden didn't go to college. Aiden, you can go to college, or you can go to the military, or you can pick up a trade. You want to do something.
Well, I'll give you an example. My mom was that. My mom was big on like, you going to college. You're going to college. College. And for me, it was like, all right, I was cool with going to college. I'm like, all right, if I go to college, I'm doing mechanical engineering. But then I had got involved with racing on the side while I was still in school. And I realized, like, hey, I love doing this. This is what I want to do. And then as I got older through high school, I realized, like, all right, most of the people I'm working along are way older than me. So I was like, I've already got a head start.
Get in that joint and take the fuck over.
I'm like, I've already got a head start.
That's what you pretty much did.
Yeah, and it did. Like, I got there at a younger age. So I was like, I already got a head start. I'm going to stay this path. If I go to college, all I'm going to do is step out of this for 4 years, go to college, and then come right back to this because I've already realized this is what I love. So to get my mom on board, when the people for the tech school came to our school and, like, pretty much, like you said, pretty much sell you on it.
Yeah.
I set the thing up with the dude to come to my house and meet my mom and talk to my mom. So when I brought him there to my mom looked at me. He was like, all right, you serious about this? She was like, so she backed up. She was like, oh, nah, you ain't never really brought nobody to the house about some school. Yeah. So she was like, nah, you serious about this? So let me kind of respect, what you're trying to do.
Yeah. Is mom coming over for the Sunday night game?
She said she's sliding through.
She said she coming through?
Yeah, she said she got to see y'all and the kids.
Mom be on the move, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy for it. Man, look, I'll tell you right now, man, I'm happy for you, dog. I mean, I just feel like just to see somebody, especially one of my mainest man, to do what you dreamed of, what you said as a child. This is what I want to do. As a teenager, this is what I want to do. Right. As an adult, this is what I want to do, and to be doing it, right. and be doing a great job, to be in a really good spot in your career, to really be calling the shots, to name your price, like. You just don't see a lot of that shit. So I just I would hope for anyone listening, you know what I'm saying, who has kids, or you may be a kid yourself or a young adult who feels like, this is what I really want to do. You know what I mean? This is my passion. Like, do that shit, bro.
Yes.
Like, you talking,
Yes.
you listening to somebody
Yes.
who has walked the footsteps. You know what I'm saying? Who's done that shit.
For sure.
And in an industry, you know what I'm saying, where it's really not in your favor. You know what I'm saying? And initially,
it's not. And I'll say that. I'll say this in the beginning. And I'll say this to anybody. Like, one, you got your dream and your passion, follow it. But understand, and I'll say from mine, okay, yeah, I'm in a predominantly white sport.
Yeah.
For me, is just know going into it, okay, I got to work twice as hard as them.
Exactly.
To get there. I understood that it was for the challenge. It was like, all right, bet. I want to get there. Yeah. That's what I got to do. That's what I got to do.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know if that's the same way it is now, but I mean, just to touch on the military again. When I came into service, for my job was field artillery, it was a lot of white people.
Yeah. And
when I came and they saw me, it was a perception that I was stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's not that I was stupid. I just didn't want to be there. Like, the military was just a job for me. It was just like, it's just a job. So it's like, y'all doing too much. You know what I mean? So, I had a lot of incidents where, I was challenged.
Right.
And it was times where I was by myself. So I was just like, I'm a chill for now.
Yep.
But once I got some time in, you know what I'm saying? Got some rank on my shoulders. Now, and I wasn't on no get back. No. But I was ready to check whoever the fuck needed to be checked. You know what I'm saying? Just to say, look, this is what I'm doing. And you're not gonna fuck this up for me just because you don't understand.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I think that's really all it is at the end of the day. Some instances is the fact that it's just sometimes people just don't understand people.
But you're gonna have to, because like like you said, their first impression is that you're stupid or you don't belong here,
or where you from?
Or you don't really know this, but they're gonna check you and they're gonna try you. So it's definitely gonna be on you to kind of stand your ground.
Yeah,
prove that you deserve to be here.
Sometimes you just gotta kind of, I ain't saying take it on the chin, but I'm just like, you're gonna have to adjust a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You can't go 100% as if we back at home on the street somewhere. You can't do that. Like, especially if this is something that you trying to make a living off. You know what I mean?
The biggest thing for me, like, you can't handle the same, and I've got it because, like, all right, it's a profession. Yeah. So when they come at you stupid, like, they're expecting you to take the low blow. So, like, it's really, like, for me, I was like, all right, I'm going to stay professional with it. Because at the end of the day, even if he hit me wrong, they're expecting me to flip out because we're the one black guy in the whole thing. So, he going to be the one that's going to act up. Well, nah, I'm going to stay professional with it because at the end of the day, that's not what you're expecting me to do. I'm here as this is my job. So the only way for me to keep progressing along and keep, like, building what I'm trying to do, like, you got to hold your, like, you got to figure out a way to hold.
It's hard. It's hard.
It's tough. I'm not gonna lie. It's tough. Like, you got to stand your ground
on a case by case basis. You
might have to get that jab in, but it's like a sophisticated jab. Like, it's one of those, like.
Trust me. I've had I've had like black jokes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then it's like, okay, I'll come back with a white joke or something. And then it's like, okay, yeah, you cool.
See,
or
I'm gonna say this: the joke thing for me was, you already know Paint Branch. First thing in the morning, what we do in the hallway? Joking and frying. So, like, when that started, they would say something, I'd be too quick back to where it's like, all right, that's over.
Yeah. Like, this ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying?
You ain't gonna win on this one. We got experience.
Like, do you know we was born to fry people? Those, like, come on.
That outfit wasn't right. You was getting it.
Yeah. But man, look, fuck all. I love everybody, man.
Hey,
I love. Listen, I wish that we would just love each other more, man.
For sure, man.
But it's a slow road, man. But we're gonna wrap it up, dog, because we gotta get this dinner cooked.
Yes, sir.
Sunday night football coming on. I want to tell everybody Happy New Year, 2021. You know what I mean? Whatever goals you set, do that shit. You know what I'm saying? If you got a fucking dream, you got a goal set, do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, you want to lose weight, you want to eat healthy, you want to go out for that job, you want to build some shit, you want to get that degree, fucking do it, man. Like, just do it. But we're going to wrap it up, man. Episode 30, Brandon Stroud, you know what I'm saying? Mobile podcast down here in Georgia, pulled up. You know what I mean? We're going to pour us another drink.
Yeah.
We're going to chill out, man. Love you, brother.
Love you, bro.
All right?
Keep doing your thing.
Captain out.